Hey, what is up, everybody? This is steviebreech coming to you here today. I've finally come down, and the house has emptied out. 49ers won that game, 34-31. San Francisco 49ers going to the Super Bowl yet once again in the quest for their 6th championship. In my fandom, we have lost the last 2 Super Bowls that we've been in. We lost to the Chiefs. And we lost to the Ravens. What year was that? Like 2012 under Harbaugh. In 1995, they won the championship against the San Diego Chargers. I was just coming into like my fandom of the 49ers and like really watching sports. I don't think it would be another year or two before I really got into like, instead of like just like playing the sports and like actually like understanding what was going on. So I remember the game. I remember halftime. I remember winning by so much that I just was on the phone for most of the second half, to the point like I didn't really enjoy my Niners winning the Super Bowl. So I mean, this is one hell of an emotion that we can finally get over the hump and win one. I'll tell you the truth. We had a first round bye in the last 2 playoff games. We've got wins, but our wins have not been pretty. That's the only way to pull it. The good thing you can say about it is that we've had to come from behind. Detroit really had us in that game. Basically at the point that they went up 14-7 in the second quarter, it kind of looked like even them going into half. With the lead 24-7. It almost looked like he was like not looking back. I don't really know what happened at halftime. I don't know if they went in there and just lit a fire under their ass when they were in there. If Shanahan flipped over a cooler, if he started yelling, Steve Wilkes lit somebody on fire or something like that. But halfway through that third quarter, we have that game pretty much, going our way to the point where we have it tied, and then we take the lead 27-24. Would have felt a lot nicer if we scored a touchdown instead of a field goal to pull ahead. But at that point, I think, honestly, even if the defense didn't stand up, I felt well enough about our offense that I felt like we would be able to trade points back and forth with the Lions, and it was just going to be a matter of who had possession last in that game, whether if that was to score points as a touchdown or to kick a field goal. I felt like we had a chance to win that game. But if you would have called me at half, I would have told you that it was over. I called my buddy Alex in Seattle before the games today. I talked to him. I got a few texts earlier in the day from people wishing me luck. But everybody pretty much left me alone throughout the whole time. My girlfriend was here. My mom was here. But it was ugly. I was sinking deeper and deeper in that chair, just like I did at about that Packer game. And I know how it happened. I know physically what went down step by step for us to get those points. But I don't know how the hell it was possible. It was almost like it was 2 different games. 2 different football teams that played in the first half and the second half. You can't even say that they turned it around. It just was honestly just complete different play that was going on out there. Brock Purdy finished the day 20 for 31. He had an interception, but he did have 260 passing yards and a touchdown. McCaffrey ran the ball 20 for 90 yards. He had 2 touchdowns on the day. Deebo Samuel looked like at one point, especially coming out of halftime, Deebo Samuel might have been the guy because he just kept getting the ball. They were running that running back play that they love to play with Deebo in the backfield a lot. They were passing it to Deebo, and it was almost like we're going to keep doing this until it's not going to work. And Deebo, did one of those running plays and just got stuffed. And then it was like, all right, everybody else has to do their part. It can't just be the Deebo show out there. But one hell of a day. 8 receptions, 89 yards. He didn't find the end zone like Brandon Ayuk did. Brandon Ayuk, honestly, I thought, honestly, he was robbed of a touchdown. But that was, like, the luckiest catch that you can ever have. Him and the defender were battling down the field. The ball just hits the defender in the face mask, pops up. Ayuk's able to catch it off the ricochet. And honestly, when they said the defender touched Brandon Ayuk for him to be down, he wasn't even down. He was still in the air, and the hand came off. Maybe that's the rule, and I just don't know, and I'm an idiot. I'm not really 100% sure. Brandon Ayuk, 3 receptions for 68 yards. 51 was that longest one off the ricochet, off the face mask. He found the end zone for real another time. Kyle Juszczyk as a fullback, 2 receptions for 33 yards, but honestly, both of them were huge. Mr. Juan Jennings, only 1 catch for 8 yards, but he's one of my favorite dudes that's out there. Moody missed the kick early in the day, but made up with 2 coming off of that to finish the day 2 for 3 with 4 extra points, throwing points up on the board. The Niners, I mean, I can't even say they played good. I mean, second half team played great, but I mean, you have to remember what happened in that first half, and they couldn't do anything. The Lions really played like they deserved to be there. They got a young team. They got a few things that are going to happen in the offseason. They're probably going to lose both coordinators. Hopefully, if they're lucky, one of them can stick around. Maybe both of them don't get jobs. But honestly, if they keep going like this, next year they'll lose the second one, whichever one they lose. It's like when the Niners were really going on their run, and it was like, oh, we'll take him. We'll take him. And it's just hard to keep that momentum going. But I mean, Laporta, 9 receptions for 97 yards on the day. Montgomery, 15 rushes for 93 yards. Jamar Gibbs, 12 for 45. Both of them found the end zone running the football. Jared Goff, 25 for 41. Talked about this a lot last week. I mean, a lot of people thought when the Lions and Rams made that trade, it was the Lions basically trying to find a way to make a step down to get better. And a lot of people thought that Jared Goff was not a part of the team taking that step to get better. Jared Goff is everything about this team. He's as important as it is as Campbell, the coach, is. Some people pointing at Campbell for not taking the 3 points and going for it on 4th and down. It was 4th and 2, I believe, when the Niners got the stop. If they had the 3, I guess the game goes to extra points. But I always think that, then they wouldn't have got the turnover, then they would have kicked off, and it's a whole different football game. You can't really, play it like that. Who knows what the hell would have happened? Maybe they would have kicked the ball off, and maybe we would have turned it for a touchdown, and it's all a wash. So, I mean, different reality. Maybe something else happens. Elijah Mitchell, thanks for showing up. I really thought that, honestly, you were going to have a more important role in the playoffs with your fresh legs. But I think, honestly, when it comes down to it with Elijah Mitchell, he had a great rookie season. When McCaffrey showed up, he really started not getting the ball, not really showing up at all. I think it's just to give you carries, it takes the ball out of McCaffrey's hands. And although you do have fresh legs, we got to have the ball in his hands any chance that we can get. So I appreciate what you did for us in the past. Hopefully, maybe you can go to the Miami Dolphins and join that 49er backfield there and be a star or something like that. But, man, everything went for a turn in the third quarter. How we were able to put up the points we did in the third. I know how we did it. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. 17 points right out of the half. I said, hey, we got to score 7. We ended up kicking that field goal, and I was like, man, I really wanted 7. That's not enough. I just thought that they were just going to keep running the ball, and as they ran like crazy, they passed over the middle. We couldn't stop anything. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad we won this game. You got to start looking forward to playing the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe we can do it. I mean, at points this year, the Chiefs looked horrible. There's no other way to put it. I mean, I've never seen them come unglued, where basically, they're yelling at the refs. It's almost like they've always just had a trip down easy street. And never really had any, strong competition. But this year, Mahomes, as teams get better and teams start signing guys to big deals and things like that, you start having to cover his salary going up. You have to make cuts in other situations, and you can really see it with the Chiefs. They're not the team that they once were, but they found a way to do it. Every time you count them out, a lot like New England back in the day. They're right back there. They're a damn good football team. They were at 11-6 on the season for a reason. And they beat a Baltimore Raven team today that I flat out did not want to play in the Super Bowl. That Raven game was bad. I think they put up like 40 on us to our 20. We took out Purdy and we put Darnold in, and it was almost like he got a little bit going to the point where if it was a 2-touchdown game, like, do you put Purdy back in there? I don't get it, man. But I'm glad Niners are going. Super Bowl time. Took all of that out of me today. I'm tired as can be, and we'll have to see what comes up. But I'll give shout outs to my buddy Blade Braxton. I honestly, tell you the truth, I didn't think about him today at all, but he's the biggest Lions fan that I know, and I know that right now, if he was still with us, man, he'd be really saying that, like, this is the Lion team that he knows his whole life. This morning I watched that Bye Bye Barry documentary on Amazon Prime, and almost instantly after I started watching it, I was like, this is probably a bad idea to watch this today. Just trying to shine a light on those Detroit Lions, even though they're saying that they were bad. They were talking about how great Barry Sanders was and how it really didn't make sense for him to retire. I believe that was the 98 year. Might have been the 99 year, but it ends with him going to London. But if there's any other Lions fans out there who made it through 12 minutes of this, I congratulate you guys. Just have another draft like you did last year. Put the right guys in the right spots. Hopefully you guys can re-sign as many guys as that are out there. I know there's 2 players I think that are on the defense that it's like a real big decision maker on those guys. And they'll figure it out. But they played a hell of a game. That's the only way to say it out there. A hell of a game. I appreciate them big time. I'll see you guys down the road. 2 weeks. Niners in the Super Bowl. Peace out, everybody.